What's up, everybody? It's Andrew Velasquez with Mindful Artist Podcast, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today and share with you my special guests. And today, I have the amazing, super talented Latino excellence himself, Jesse Garcia. Say hello.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy for you to be here. You're literally kicking this off as my first official guest. So I'm so grateful to have you and to have known you for such a long time and just watch you grow and blossom and really inspire so many people because you are an inspiration. You know that. You're the man, you're the
Uh,
king.
Thank you.
So
Likewise.
who is Jesse Garcia? Jesse Garcia starred in an award-winning film, Quinceañera, written and directed by Wash Westermoreland and Richard Glatzer, with executive producer Todd Haynes, which won both the Grand Jury Prize and the Audience Award at the 2006 Sundance Film Festival in the Dramatic Independent Feature Competition. Quinceañera was also selected to play at the 2006 Berlin Film Festivals. Garcia won Best Actor at the 2007 Alma Awards for his role as Carlos, a troubled gay teenager in Quinceañera. He appeared in the thriller Locker 13 in 2009. He made a cameo appearance on Marvel's The Avengers in 2012. Garcia was born in Rawlins, Wyoming, and spent most of his childhood in Hanna, Wyoming. He was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Though he no longer practices that faith, his sister, 1 year younger, worked oil field trucking for over 19 years. His father is from a Mexican state of Durango, and his mother, a native of Wyoming, is of Spanish and of Mexican descent. He appeared in 2010's revival Pee-wee Herman Show and in a 2010 music video of Wisin and Yandel's Estoy, Enamorado. He also portrayed Richard Montañez in the biographical movie Flamin Hot 2023, based on Montañez's disputed claim of inventing Flamin Hot Cheetos, directed by Eva Longoria. Oh my God, what a bio. What do you think? What do you have to say
Where'd you
about
get
that?
that? Did you write that?
No, I just Googled it, looked up Jesse Garcia bio quick, and this is what came up. Is everything accurate? I hope so.
Pretty close. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, how did that start? Like, tell us about Wyoming and your upbringing, and let's start from the beginning.
I was born there.
And
Yeah.
how was it growing up there? Was it fun? I know that you were an athlete.
I mean, yeah, I think you always want to leave the place you grow up in because you don't appreciate it as a kid. So
Yeah,
but I go back and I kind of appreciate it more as an adult and I'd actually like to buy property there somewhere in the mountains and away
yeah.
from everybody and
I've
have
never
my own
been. Is
have
it
my
a
own lake or
beautiful,
something.
is it a
Yeah, it's
beautiful nature area?
really, really pretty. The winters are rough though.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
winters are tough. Summers are beautiful. Spring and fall are really nice. It just winters are tough. It's already snowed there, I think.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot colder at this time of the year. Well, let's fast forward to moving to Los Angeles. When did you realize, like, this is my home, this is where I need to be, and California is the state for you?
Well, I started out. I was going to school in Nebraska. I had a cheerleading scholarship, and I met a friend, ran into a friend on campus one day, and we were talking about what we wanted to do with our lives, and she wanted to be an actor and model, and we were both super young, 20, 21 and 19,
Yeah,
and she was going to go to Atlanta to study with this guy named Judson Vaughn, who was an actor, director, producer, writer, had an acting studio,
very cool.
teen study classes, and she invited me to come. And the short version of that is like I eventually said yes after kind of like much debate and moved to Atlanta with her to study acting. And this was in 2000. So I was there for 3.5 years. And then I moved to LA
Nice.
after that in December of 2003. So almost 20 years ago.
Amazing. That's like half the life of Jesse Garcia, like back in the day, 2000, early Y2K,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
social media. And what is your take on, pre-social media, pre-internet, pre all that? Because I feel
Well,
like we're
I think like the generation exennial, I think is what we're called. Like, but there's a gap, there's like a mid 70s to like very early 80s. There's a
correct.
small little generation of us who who are kind of the last of the kids that used to go play outside and didn't have internet. I grew up without internet, but internet and social media became a part of our lives. So it's like we're in that cusp where it's we still use it a lot, right?
Right.
Um, so I still enjoy being outdoors, and I still, although I'm just as addicted to my phone as everybody else. Um, um, but I know how to fix stuff. I build things. Occasionally, I'll work on cars. I'll figure stuff out. So I'm still of that generation. Like, and there's obviously still people in young generation that like to do those kind of things, but
Yeah.
it's changed quite a bit. So like I'm glad I came from that era, and I still feel like I'm a little but I'm still the generation. I still feel like I'm behind, the younger generation where
I
everything
feel
like
that.
they grew up with all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I relate 100%. I did the intro a couple days ago and was reminiscing on growing up with my brothers. And yeah, I mean, we would play with like rocks and dirt and wood and like climb on trees. And, we had power wheels, but we would just take the battery out because it wasn't fast enough. And we were just like chamacos and just getting into trouble. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm grateful for that too, because that I feel like taught us work ethics, communication skills, how to interact, and not just to be a human with other humans.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, now with online media innovation, it's kind of like you have to be a little bit of both. You have to have a hybrid of understanding both. And so that's really why I wanted to create this too, is to have that balance, right? Because
mm.
it can be a lot. It can be a lot, and it can consume a lot of your mental health if you're constantly on the social media. So how do you find that you balance that today? Like, where are you
I
at
mean,
with?
I think we're, unfortunately, our parents, like, I had to figure out my mental health stuff as I went along. I've had some great conversations with different people over the years, and but I've kind of, for the most part, had to figure it out myself.
Yeah,
Uh, and it's not really to any fault of our parents. They just didn't have the tools. You know
right.
what I mean? Like the young generation now, like it's almost too many. They almost have too many tools. It's like it's almost like tool fatigue. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like they have
yeah,
so many resources, and it's almost confusing, right? Like without. And I think what the younger generation now has the advantage of is like, whether they're, parents from my generation or even a little bit younger, is that they do have more tools and they can be a
yeah,
better guidance. But it's also like, how do we navigate all of the tools to make sure that we're kind of not fucking up our kids and, the
yeah.
younger generation. I don't have kids, but
Right.
um um but it's like, and I think as much as we can, we're trying to help the older generations to kind of navigate the stuff that we don't even necessarily understand. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
There's a lot of things that I don't get, but I'm trying to understand and be empathetic. And
Yeah.
at the time, I'm going like, some of it doesn't make sense to me, and which is fine.
Right.
You know, I did I need certain things explained to me more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Suffixes for different words
Yes.
and
Yes.
pronouns
Yeah.
and things, and I think it's confusing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Uh, and I do my best, and I think everyone does their best, and I think it behooves everybody to kind of be patient with everybody without being, you know, finding ways of not being triggered.
Yeah. You said it perfectly. It can be overwhelming, and everyone has an opinion, and everybody wants to be heard, and everybody wants their parade and their synonym, acronym, whatever. They want to be part of. Essentially, you want to think about it. They want to be part of community. They want to be heard and seen, right? Like
Right.
that's really what the point of this podcast is as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, like specifically Latinx, like I wasn't unsure. I didn't even know like why. Like when I just finally started researching. So I think that's the thing is like if you have the tools to research and the resources to get out and see where the information is accurate, if it's hopefully accurate. And I kind of like it now. It's to just gender neutralize Latin generation and it kind of modernize it a little bit. So it's taking away that, old school, like macho masculinity kind of mentality with like Latino or Latina. It's just, we're all Latinx. Like it's just kind of generalizing. So yeah, John Leguizamo said it really well in his show. And I love that guy. He's just one of my heroes. Um, but yeah, I think it's just humans are humans. We're all on the same planet, just trying to figure this shit out, just trying to get day by day. And I know for me, it's like, and I know you can probably relate to this too. Is like our parents did what they were able to do with the tools and the resources they had. They didn't know what they inherited through their parents, and naturally, that's going to kind of be in the household. And then we, as sponges, are also going to inherit some of their mental health issues. So I was very aware of that at such a young age, and just saw the effects that it had, like specifically with my mom. So, I mean, I had to take it upon myself to do the research and to do the homework and to seek for therapy, and I freaking love it. I'm like the biggest advocate for therapy. It's so fun. It's I've been going to it since I was 15, and it's just a healthy way to like express yourself and purge and let all those emotions that we store sometimes, and it stays in our body and we don't even realize it, and it comes out, and it just like it can be an attack or it hurts someone else and we're not aware of it. So I think, yeah, with the younger generation having that awareness and streamlining the information that they're intaking, and then maybe figuring out what kind of algorithm do you want, not only in your social media but within your life. What kind of algorithm do you want to like manifest, because that's what you're going to portray. It's like karmatic energy, right? So yeah, I think having a little disconnect sometimes helps, and just detox from the digital era is very, very healthy. But let's talk about your latest project. Oh my God, I was so happy for you. Like, I was like, finally, the world gets to see the Jesse Garcia that I've experienced and witnessed, and because we're all fans of you, right? But like Disney, Flamin Hot, like Eva, like that's just magnitude. That's massive. So how was that experience for you? And you did a fantastic job, brother. I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. It's uh from the second I read the breakdown into reading the script, I felt like, oh, if this was written for me. you
Yeah.
know there was never a doubt in my mind that I could do the role justice, and do Richard justice, and do Eva justice. um but it was also a huge undertaking, you know what I mean? Like, and I tried not to let the pressure of um being number one on a call sheet for a movie, a studio movie, right? That
Yeah.
Latinos don't often get, like Eva likes to say, a bite at the apple, and we didn't have room to fail. Like, we didn't like we don't get that chance very often. Like, we just don't get it. Like, if a multi-million-dollar studio film they're giving us a chance to shoot a movie, and it fails, or it's like we
Yeah.
don't get those chances.
Yeah.
It's been 20 some years since a Latina female has directed a studio film. So that's a huge thing as well.
Right.
And there was just a ton of dialogue, and trying to, honor and do Richard justice, because him and his family are still alive,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they would be on set, and I never felt any pressure from them.
Okay.
Um, um, I mean, there was a scene. I think by now everyone's seen the movie, or most.
Oh, they haven't. They live in a rock.
Yeah. Um, I think it's going to be a new resurgence as soon, like now that the strike's over. We There was the scene where at the beginning of the movie, so I'm not really spoiling anything, where Richard and Judy are in a car, and Richard's saying like how he like what she likes the new car, and da 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 da, and it turns out he stole the car, and this happened in real life. And Richard and Judy were on set that day, and Annie and I are doing the scene, and we're improvising, and I'm saying what I'm saying, and they call cut, and we go back to Video Village where everyone's around the monitors watching the scene, and Richard and Judy and the kids all have their kids were there too, and they have headphones on, and they're watching the scene, and everyone's
Wow.
crying. Richard and Judy are crying, um, uh, and we go over to them, and everyone's teary eyed, and Eva cries every day. Um,
That's healthy.
and
It's very healthy.
yeah, I was healthy, and Richard and Judy came over and hugged us, and Richard grabbed me and hugged me, and he looked me in the eye, teary eyed, and he goes, "I get it now. I get what you're doing. Because, you know, when you see someone like, especially for Richard, and my theory is like, when you have you're putting your story in the hands of people that, you know, you're trusting, but it's still a very vulnerable place. You don't really know what they're going to do with it, right?
Right.
And I'm, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm still not a household name. You know, I was, you know, we'll see what happens in the next year. But I wasn't, you know, I wasn't super famous. So like Richard didn't really know who I was, right? He had other ideas in mind for other people. He wanted like play the role, and I'm the one who got it. So
Right.
having us come, not, and also from, he's not a filmmaker. So like for us to do pieces like out of order, and I'm doing something specific in each scene, because I know I'm working on everything. I'm working on the micro that's working to the macro, right? I'm doing
Sure.
one puzzle piece at a time for this big puzzle, right?
Yeah.
This 50,000 piece puzzle. And he starts to see the pieces come together, and the picture's starting to reveal itself. And it kind of revealed itself in this one scene where he goes, okay, I get it now. I get what you're doing. Because, you know, some of the things I do between different takes are a little risky, right? They're not,
Yeah.
you know, I had a conversation with him at the beginning before the movie started. I go, just so you know, I'm not going to be doing an imitation of you. I'm not
Right.
going to be, I'm not going to mimic you. I'm not going to like try to imitate your movements. I'm going to be doing my version of your story with respect and honor,
Love
right?
that.
Because I just, for me, the important part was paying respects to his story and
Mm-hmm.
telling the story as a whole. And you know, again, he's like in a very vulnerable place to have someone, their stories, like we swept, lifted up the rug and
Yeah.
pulled out some of the dirt, and you know what I mean? They're still alive, so it's a very vulnerable thing.
Absolutely.
But he starts to see this come together, and he goes, okay, I get it now. I see what you guys are doing. And then it's
Yeah.
like, for them, like their heart opened and the floodgates open.
I love that. That's so magical too. I just got like chills as you were explaining that. Yeah, to do his story justice and to do it in authentically Jesse Garcia's way in homage to, you know, Morales' story is like a beautiful way to interpret that and express that. I think that's, you did it justice, man. It was just beautiful. Just the whole thing, the from the beginning to the end, like all of it. I was just I had to watch it more than once because I was just like, yeah, I was your biggest cheerleader right there, eating Flamin' Hot
Thank
Cheetos
you.
too. Because you know I love, I know you probably don't even eat that, but I actually do love Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And it just was like full circle, you know, like I'm from Boyle Heights, East LA, and we grew up with that. So those scenes of him like going to the parks, I was probably in that park. I was probably one of the first ones to like actually taste that. And then to see my friend and, you know, client and Jesse, like just it was just like a full circle for me. So for me, it was very personal. It was something that like resonated with me on so many levels. And if I'm just one person like that can relate to it that way, I can only imagine others, you know, like other generations that are younger than me that can also relate to it too. So well done. Good job. I'm
You know,
just
it's
so
funny. It's like
excited for you.
a lot of, you know, we had a lot of Latinos. We had a lot of early screenings, so we got to meet a lot of people that came out. Annie has
Nice.
a really great story. Um, how she had a screening, and a lot of her family came out to a screening,
Yeah.
and I think I think I'm gonna tell it wrong, but I think one of her cousin's mom died. Her aunt,
Okay.
her her aunt. I want just something. I might be messing up some details,
We'll
but
say it's a Thea. It's all good.
the essence of the story is after the movie was over, uh, the cousin came up to Annie and goes, "I got to see my mom again." Right,
Oh,
and it's
that's
really
beautiful.
beautiful. And so
Oh,
and so it meant a lot to a lot of people,
yeah,
especially Latinos, but it also crossed cultural lines. It transcended all the cultural lines because people from
absolutely.
around the world. I had the coolest, youngest white kids come up to me and go, "It was their favorite movie,"
Of
right?
course.
And
It's on freaking Disney.
Disney, but it's like for people of all areas of life, you know, like
Yeah.
to come up, go, it was a really great movie, and we're really proud of you. It matters a lot to for me. That was the big kind of thing I wanted to do, is make sure I want to make universal stories, right? Of course, I want to make culturally relevant movies as well, but I want to make universal stories that cross those lines, so that there are, you know, I don't mind being someone who paves way and being part of that, you know, like Wizam was one of them, and Edward James Olmos
Yeah.
is one of them,
Yeah.
Salma Hayek, and like there's so many people. Um,
Yes.
and I don't mind being one of those people for the younger and next generations, and even people who are older than me who want to do the same thing and film, like whether it's behind the camera or in front of the camera.
100%. And that's what I love about you. Since the get-go, since I discovered you in Quinceañera, like you, that was also very cultural and very close to heart and very Echo Park, which is literally where my parents migrated from Mexico. Like they lived in Echo Park in the 70s. And then you're doing this film, and I'm like, and then I lived there for like 10 years. So it's just,
Mm.
you've been doing that and practicing that. And that's what I love about Jesse Garcia. It's just authentic, raw, genuine, and just proud. Like that's just, those are all really great qualities. And
For better
so,
or for worse, you know.
but we love you for that. So, um, tell us, what are some of the practices or routines that you've put into your, daily schedule to nurture your creativity, but also kind of keep spirituality while running your business? I know it's like a loaded question.
That is a loaded question. I mean, I work out every day. I train every day.
Love
Um,
that with our
whether
boy
it's
Elon.
yeah, whether it's lifting or yoga or Pilates or walking, it's something. You know, I'm doing something
Yeah,
every day. I meditate
yeah,
most days. Um, I eat right. You know,
yeah,
I've learned to set boundaries with myself and others. You know,
yeah.
I'm learning to be more clear with my communication in all relationships,
I mean, those are
and
all
and
strong takeaways.
yeah, and enjoying the wins. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're all every little win's a win. You know, those I feel like we've gotten to a point where humility hurts us, right?
Mm,
If we're so like, especially Latinos in the industry, like be humble.
hmm.
You're working. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, but I belong here.
yeah. And
Right?
why can't we be proud and loud
I
about
can
it too?
I can be proud. I'm not being boastful, but I'm like,
No,
I feel like I belong in the room just as much as anybody else. You know
100%.
what I
And you've
mean?
also earned it.
I've been putting in work for 23 years. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, and I'm working on so many other things. I'm working on directing and producing and writing
Shut
and
up.
yeah, and
Tell us
all the
about that.
yeah. I'm so many.
I
I'm
don't know if you
directing.
can.
Yeah, I can. I'm directing a documentary right now that we're starting to pitch out. We got a
Yes.
really great trailer and just other projects that I'm developing. Just writing a bunch of stuff, all genres. I'm hoping to direct something here within the next year or so. So
Amazing.
working on taking some meetings and developing a bunch of things and seeing what next projects that come along. The strike kind of like didn't really kill anything, but it's like there's a
Yeah.
lot of meetings and stuff I had with studios and producers and stuff to see what what I want to do next and what do they have in the roster, what we can work together on, and just to kind of keep the momentum going, keep the train going
So
from
let's talk
stop to
about
stop.
that. Like, how do you keep the creative juices flowing as an artist? Like, maybe I know we just had that strike, but do you journal? Do you write? Like, or what are some kind of techniques or,
I haven't been writing as much, but I do write. I do enjoy
okay.
writing. And I haven't been journaling as much. But that is something I do. Again, I like writing. Um, Photography is one. I
Yes.
enjoy learning different aspects of filmmaking, editing, lighting. Like I'm building my own little pinhole camera right now.
So
Um,
dope.
yeah. So I like to shoot. I like to be creative. And finding different ways of doing something that's already been done. You know what I mean? And like just different aspects of re
Remixing it.
recreating, remixing art. You know,
That's so
uh,
dope.
rediscovering. Um, Uh, and just hanging out with friends, kind of like mashing brains together and see what everyone else
Balling
is
off
doing.
each other's
I mean,
ideas,
yeah,
brainstorming.
we should. There's so much work to be done that we shouldn't be hoarding our own work
Right.
just to ourselves because that's our project. You know what I mean? Like everyone should be helping each other. We should all be
100%.
working together. You help me, I help you. If it's right, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, my neighbors have like loud non muffler
I
scooters and
didn't
all
hear
kinds of stuff.
anything. You're good.
Yeah.
No, but literally, that's
Um,
like the point to this podcast too, is to celebrate each other and encourage one another to pursue those passion projects. And like you said it earlier, there's enough room for everybody. Like, why not help each other? You know what I mean? Like, we're all we got. So this is our only chance. This is our only
I also
life.
think it's an interesting time too with how um it's come to light how much power the studios have, right? The corporations have that
Yeah,
there's got to be other ways of doing things. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Doing work. So I think there's going to be a lot of change within and how projects are getting done.
Yeah.
There's going to be ways of doing things more independently and not relying so heavily on studios and so heavily on like major corporations to get our projects out there. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, there it's Hollywood. It is what it is, and we need the studios. But I think there's other ways of doing things.
100%, especially with online media innovation, having access to YouTube, having access to all these other streaming services, and you having the experience and the expertise with your craft, you 100% can do that with the team and the friends that are going to have each other's back and have that same kind of like vision. So yeah, I see big things. I definitely see your name being a household name within a year for sure. After this is like the opportunities are endless. You know what I mean? Like just so let's talk about that. Like how do you manifest? Like how do you pursue a goal and then make it happen? Like what are those strategies for you?
Well, here's the thing that I didn't have when I had did quinceañera, right? And
Okay.
for me, like that was a big learning curve for me, is that I was playing the humble artist,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I didn't have the business sense about the business that I do now, and I'm still learning a lot. And this is my first rodeo at a studio level with
Sure.
kind of a higher profile movie like Flamin Hot. And when Quinceañera came out, it was a non-union movie. I
Right.
got paid $1,000 to do that movie back in the day. So like
Yeah.
it was a little basically a little home movie that
Yeah.
Wash and Richard made. And I was kind of like the new it kid for a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like young guy on the block. And I didn't have the money uh to get a publicist really.
Right.
Um, I didn't know anything about campaigning for awards. And my manager at the time, she definitely knew more than I did, but there was just like those mistakes that or things that we could have done better, right? So now this
Sure.
round is like we're we're being more smart about it. We're having more of a business sense about it. It's a bigger ball game, right? So like we're going out, we're campaigning for stuff, and we're going to be working to see what we can get out of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
working to get to the next level, right? Trying to get bigger jobs, higher profile jobs, or just great jobs, great scripts. Like I don't, I, it,
Let's go. Let's do
for me, it
it.
doesn't matter. Like I'm kind of approaching this thing as from a business perspective. Is like I just want to do
Yeah.
really great work and work with really fucking awesome people, right?
And have a good time doing it.
Yeah, and have a great time doing it and providing opportunities for my friends and people who I want to see have a chance. You know what I mean? Like some of my friends who are fantastic artists, whether
Yeah.
they're an actor or whether they're below the line, that to give them a chance to kind of express themselves in their art and be on bigger projects or at least get in the door and kind of meet other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. No, I think every project and every experience you've had up until now, it's prepped you for the next step. Maybe if you didn't have those learning curves with Quinceañera, you wouldn't have been as confident with your networking and negotiation now. So I mean, even going forward, like every gig is gonna like help you propel to the next level, and I'm a believer of that. Like, I don't know if Jesse in 2000 would be prepared for what is happening in 2023. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to hit those like highs and
The universe,
lows.
the universe is funny, man. Like you just don't know. You just don't
Yeah,
know. You just don't know. For
yeah.
some reason, it didn't. Like I had a couple movies that didn't end that I did that never came out right after Quinceañera. One was should have been a higher profile movie that may or may
Mm,
not have made me a household name because it was had some bigger actors in it and it was a pretty good movie. And I think it would still be a good movie. Like I think it would still
mm.
do well. I don't it'd be a period movie at this point, but it was 15, 16 years old,
Right.
15 years old. Um, um, but it potentially could have made me a household name back, 17 years ago. So who knows, man?
Yeah.
Like if you know the universe is kind of like,
She's beautiful. She's
yeah,
got her back. She's gonna guide it. You just have to trust it. Like you, I'm the reason I'm saying this even with more confidence now. It's my mother, rest in peace, passed away this past June, and I mean, she was the closest person that I was ever with, like in my life, and even now as she's passed, like all these like little sparkles and signs of just like, Mijo,
mm-hmm,
you got this. Like, use your voice. Like, that's the gift. I'm like, what, mom? Like, so, and it's the universe helping and guiding, like seeing these little things. So I'm a believer of that. Like, just trusting the
yeah,
process and just being vulnerable is beautiful, and allowing yourself to be open minded for what's to come. All right, I have another
yeah.
question. Can you share any tips or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to incorporate more creativity while balancing their spirituality in their work?
For me, I would say it's more about asking questions and being inquisitive about other people
Mm,
as opposed to kind of like um, bestowing your own beliefs, right?
yeah, yeah.
Just
Learning.
because, yeah, because everyone. I think none of our like none of our beliefs and opinions are really our own,
Right,
right?
right.
They're all an amalgamation and what's the word I'm looking for? A
It's it
cumulative pile of shit that we've heard and read.
exactly.
Someone's told us, like, oh, I like that, I like that, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that because that person's so and so, and
And
da,
our
da, da, da.
brain stores it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
so we create a belief system of our own based on other things we've none of it's like we're a blank slate. Like we don't
yeah.
have those systems when we're born, right? We might have, for me, I
Thank
believe in past
you.
lives, we might have some stuff that we've carried on from past lives, but even those belief systems are from something else,
Right.
right? So who knows where that stuff has come from? If you go into conversations and spirituality and all these things with an open mind, I'm I'm I am not religious. Um I don't really know where I stand, honestly.
Hmm.
Like I'm an agnostic, atheist, something. I don't know.
Love
Um
it. Love it.
but if I'm happy to have a conversation about spirituality, because I think I'm contradicting spiritual in a sense. You know what I mean? Um, but to be able to be open and ask questions and try to understand why this other person or group of people believe what they believe. And you
Hmm.
may not agree with them, but there's ways of having conversations without major conflict and being triggering.
Legit. I mean, if you think about the human brain, like this is facts. Like we're only born with two fears as an infant. The fear of falling because we were Neanderthals at one point that lived in trees. And we just lived day by day to survive. And the fear of loud noises because that would kind of coincide with being eaten by whatever animal was out there. All these other fears that we inherit, they're not freaking real. None of them are real. Like back to what you were saying earlier, we're a blank slate. We can literally become whatever the fuck you want in this world. Like the opportunities are endless, but you just have to believe that and you have to eliminate those fears and almost like retrain your brain, like you said, being open-minded to whatever spirituality means for that individual, and retrain the brain to focus on the light, focus on positivity. There's so much negativity out there already as it is. Why do we need to instill that into our brains and into our systems when you can live life with just kindness and respect and having healthy boundaries and treating yourself with respect and being kind to you. And if you have an inner saboteur or a negative thought, being aware of that and then retraining it by saying two compliments to yourself. Like there's so many resources and tools that we have out there. The brain is a magical freaking thing. Like I'm obsessed with how it works and how we can really navigate our lives day by day, but then also like long term, what you can accomplish. Like it's amazing. It's a really amazing and beautiful thing. I'm so grateful for our human brains. Um, but yeah, thank you for sharing that on spirituality. Same, like I mean, I grew up like super strict Catholic. You're sinning, you're gay, you're going to hell, like all this stuff, right? And although I really enjoyed some of the traditions about it. There's something about the sage and the praying, and I do pray, but it's more like I also like Hindu and I like Buddhism and I like, I'm this is what I say. Like my spirituality is mother nature. Like I'm a student to the practice of being a human and being kind to animals and to the earth and to plants and to other humans, because that's my religion, is to just live of essence of beauty and color and try to share that light with whoever I pass, wherever I go, and I wish that would be kind of like a viral thing. I hope others, and I'm kind of seeing it a little bit, especially in our Latin community, like now specifically, just we're holding each other accountable, we're having each other's backs. I mean, this conversation today, I'm so grateful for that. So we just got to keep that momentum going, like just sharing love and light to each other. You know what I mean? But okay, so wrapping up, I have some really cool mindful artists rapid cues, I like to call them. So these are the top 3 questions, and just where you're at. You don't have to think about it too much. Just kind of let it come naturally. That's why it's a rapid question. So question number 1, Jesse, who is your hero and why?
What's the definition of a hero?
Heroic, someone that has made an impact in your life that shapes pretty much your fantasy dream person. But I like that you're asking a question with a question.
Yeah. See, these questions are funny to me because there's like to put someone that high up on a pedestal, there's just like I don't have favorites, right? There's so many people that have influenced my life for one aspect or another.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, my parents, they did what they raised me, they did what they could, for as different as I was, wanting to leave as early as possible when I was a little kid, wanting to move to the city. It could be any number of people I've seen on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
do something really beautiful. I'm like, oh, that's really beautiful. I have soulmates, right? My friend Allegra is one of my soulmates.
Yeah.
Was one of my soulmates. Wilmer Valderrama is one of my brothers. You know what I mean? Like there's like people in my life who are very special. You're very special to me.
Thank you.
So and there's so many artists. Like I can't. For me, those questions are funny because I can't to narrow. They're limiting and they narrow. There's too narrow of a focus.
I'll take it. I love it. That's an authentic Jesse answer. Always honest. Okay. Question number 2. What is your favorite music album of all time and why?
Favorite music album? One of my favorite concerts I went to when I was younger was Motley at the Warped Tour.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was Motley when I first saw them. God, what was it? 1997,
Were you in the mosh pit?
I didn't mosh, but I was like, I remember it was I think Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were playing too. That's the name of the band, right? Mighty Mighty
That's
Boss
so
Tones.
sick.
So
I can see you like with a lot of hair just rocking out too, right?
My hair was never my hair was only long once. But when I heard Motley play, I had never heard of them before, and they were like the sound, you know
Right.
what I mean? The sound that
Angelic.
every so the Warped Tour, I don't know if you've ever been,
No,
several stages. It
but I
might have
heard
been,
of it.
I think it was in Boulder, Colorado. And there might have been like 5, 6 stages, something like that. Like just
Wow.
they all came over to Ozomatli because Ozomatli was going off,
Right.
right? And it was such a fun concert. And I got the album. I'm like, oh man, it's just the album's so good too, but the concert was just,
The
man,
experience.
it was just the
And
experience of the concert was just the vibe was so like the frequencies that were coming out of like it's almost you
imagine
could
that
see,
at Red Rocks.
yeah,
It like would break everything. That's
so
so
good.
cool. Thank you for sharing that. Cool. All right. Last rapid question. What's your favorite quote?
Coat
Quote. I know I said it
quote
weird. Your favorite quote.
quote. So many. Um, I don't think I heard it anywhere, but I say a lot that the things you speak become your truth.
Dang, that's deep. Yeah, that's manifestation. It's the sensory mode, right? The sensory system. You're speaking it out into the universe. That's going to be your truth. That's beautiful. I love that. Oh my goodness. This was awesome. You're so
Yeah, it was fun.
cool.
You
I'm
are.
like, I'm just, I feel great. I feel good after talking to you. I'm going to go for a run now.
There you
Thank you
go.
so much, everybody, for listening to us today on The Mindful Artist. We have Jesse Garcia, and I want you to go out there and make an impact to someone else. Go share some love and light. My kings and queens and all in betweens, this is it. This is our time to shine. So let's go. I'll see you at the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Mindful Artist Podcast. Thank you so much. Bye, Jesse.
Bye.
Corazón.